St. Marie.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Can everyone hear me?
We got you.
Yes, good. I think Mr. Cooper sort of just triggered me to ask another question first before the real question I was going to ask, and it was about speed. And I wanted to just maybe follow up even on where Minister Morneau ended off. I want to say a huge thank you to every single one of you in the Department of Finance, in the Department of Employment and Social Development, in Canada Revenue Agency. It has been unbelievable what you have been able to help produce and what we have been able to launch since this whole pandemic was underway just over a month to 5 weeks ago. We know that there's many people that are still waiting out there for a number of programs, but I can tell you, I am so enormously proud of our Canadian bureaucracy, and I talk about all of you guys all the time to say it was nothing short of a miracle for us to be able to introduce the Canada Emergency Response Benefit in such a short period of time, to bring out the GST credit a month in advance before we even thought about it, but before we had originally planned, the Canada Business emergency plan that the banks are putting into effect, that over 220,000 businesses have already applied for, according to the minister today. So I want to say and start off by just saying thank you. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for stepping up. Thanks for your creativity. Thank you for your hard work. We are so blessed to have such an unbelievable civil service here in Canada. So I think what I want to ask you, just because there must have been a lot of discussions, going on in terms of how do we actually deliver these programs and what's the best way to do it. Can maybe someone talk to what was your key objective and what was the key thing that you were thinking about that sort of led you to sort of introducing these programs? So what was it that sort of helped you make a decision about how to introduce? So if maybe someone can talk a little bit to that, that would be great. And then I hope to have another minute left to sort of ask one more question.
Well, perhaps I'll begin, Mr. Chair. It's Andrew Marsland. Unless, Cliff, you want to go first? But
go ahead, Andrew.
Go ahead, Andrew. Yeah. My mic was off. I was going to turn to you. Go ahead.
So I was going to begin by saying that of course speed and effectiveness are the key criteria, and when you look at these things, we're lucky in that we have a system in the Canada Revenue Agency and Service Canada that is equipped to deal with these programs and has the nimbleness to adapt. For example, to stand up the Canada Emergency Recovery Benefit, and shortly to put in place the wage subsidy. I think it's also important to leverage the private sector and through the loan system and work with them. So I think it's important to look at the toolkit and to look at its adaptability, and also to kind of understand that while we're in a crisis, it's in a broader context, and we need to think about having a system that has the checks and balances in place and is equipped to look at these things beyond the immediate term.
Thank you.
Did somebody else want in on that one as well? Was Cliff or?
Yes, Cliff Garone from ESDC. I would just add to Andrew's comments that when we were designing the CERB, there were three main criteria we had. It needed to be speedy. We knew it was absolutely critical that we deliver it on a very quick basis. It needed to be simple, because if it wasn't simple, there was no way we'd be able to deliver it. And it needed to be delivered safely as well. And we knew that if we made a commitment to deliver the program, it had to be done. And we didn't fail in that. And that's why it was important that both CRA and ourselves joined together to be able to deliver it in that time frame.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Julie.
Thank you. So just one other quick question. One of the things that, Governor Polos in the last session, he said, in answer to the question by my colleague, Ms. Koutrakis, she said, can we make up the 4 to 6% growth GDP loss that we're anticipating sort of happening over the course of this next year. And he said absolutely. And he says there'll probably be some structural changes that'll have to change. But he says there's also going to be some positive structural changes, and there's some innovation that's happening. And so my question is really about the data that we're gathering. I think we're probably starting to learn a lot about our workforce right now. And I would love to know from anyone from the Department of Employment and Social Development, what data are we collecting in terms of, the jobs that are lost, the age of people that are applying for the Canada Emergency Relief Benefits? So what data are we collecting so that maybe we can pivot to creating a better platform for our social welfare system moving forward? I'm particularly interested in the universal basic income, but I would love to know what data we might be collecting right now that might actually inform some of our decisions moving forward.
Who wants to take that? Or does anybody have an answer? I don't see anybody there.
No one from Department of Employment and Social Development?
Okay, who we got? Andrew, Cliff, or Jonathan, go ahead. Who's on?
It's Andrew Brown from
Go ahead, Andrew.
Social Development Canada.
Yeah.
So just to say that at this stage, we are very much in the early days. I mean, we're collecting a lot of volumetrics, I would say right now, in terms of the number of claims that we're seeing for the CERB, and CRA is collecting similar data. It will be taking us a little bit of time to start the analysis of that data so that we can understand better the people that it is helping, and we are very keen to understand more about those who are qualifying among the employed, but also among the self-employed, which is something that is new with this approach. So it's very much on our list, but too soon to report results at this stage.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Chair.